cannabis community. We are basically just a grassroots advocacy group. We want to see cannabis legalized. We want to see an end to prohibition. And, me and the other person who's been helping enormously in this process, Mark Powell on Facebook, Mark Guida, we realized that if we don't join forces, we are never going to accomplish this. So Legal Missouri 2022 had made their announcement that they were starting to collect signatures. I had an opportunity to read the initiative, and I realized that this is essentially the medical monopoly just for adult use. And that was when the two of us, me and Mark and a couple of other people, got together. We decided to create the group, and we've been fighting for, some kind of unity within cannabis community advocates ever since.
Yeah. Again, I got to attend the rally on the 29th, and it was a great thing to watch. There were a lot of very passionate people there. It was great to hear Ron Hicks and Tony Lavasco and Representative Manlove all discussing the bill and the reasons behind backing it. I know there's been a lot of talk about 2704, but also some of the other bills, and you've been very adamant about speaking about the differences between 2704 and some of the other bills. So just to lay it out for people, let's break down House Bill 2704 and then why you're speaking out against the other bills or joint resolutions or whatever's going on out there that the monopolies want to back over 2704.
Okay, so I will say right off the bat, I'm not really familiar with the other joint resolutions that are going through our legislature for marijuana or anything that involves marijuana legalization. The big one that is on everyone's radar is House Bill 2704, also known as the Cannabis Freedom Act. I want to start off by pointing out that there's a very big difference between the Cannabis Freedom Act 2704 and Legal Missouri 2022. So we're dealing with ballot initiatives. So the medical program, that was enacted through a ballot initiative. Legal Missouri 2022 is done by the same group that did the medical program, and they are, again, a ballot initiative. And the reason why this is important is because a ballot initiative amends our Constitution, and it requires people to vote. So the first step in the ballot initiative is you have to get enough signatures to put it on the ballot, and then you have to vote on it. Come November, we will vote on it if it ends up on the ballot, and then it goes into our Constitution. And the reason this is so important is because once something goes into our Constitution, it becomes nearly impossible to change. It technically can be changed, but it costs millions of dollars and it takes years. Basically, you have to do it through another ballot initiative, or you have to convince our government to do it. And the process, it's not easy. And again, it still has to go onto the ballot. The House bill that we're talking about, 2704, the Cannabis Freedom Act, that does not go on the ballot. The way we make that happen is by reaching out to our legislators and telling them we want the Cannabis Freedom Act to pass. Our legislators are the only ones who will vote on it. It's a piece of legislation, which means that the people have the right to speak into it and, suggest changes that need to be made to it and, just explain what problems may arise with it, as it becomes implemented later on down the road. So say there's a provision that's a big problem. The people can explain that to our legislators, and legislators can fairly easily make a change that is necessary, as opposed to a constitutional amendment. Whatever is written into that amendment is what we are stuck with.
Okay, because it's funny, my wife works at the Truman Building today, and I picked her up after work, and as we pulled out of the parking lot across McCarty, there was someone there looking for, I guess he had the petition to sign. And I told my wife's like, oh, is that what you were talking about? I was like, no, that's not the one we want. We want 2704. I said, that's not the one we want to see. And again, as I've told my listeners, there's a couple things I like about the bill. On the legalization side, I love that they're pulling it from the schedule and they're not even going to call it a drug anymore, which I love.
Yes.
Yes. But then also the bonus to me, which I'm just enthralled with, is the fact that now no government agency, employee, or unauthorized third party can know that you have a medical marijuana card. So if you want to go buy a firearm at the gun store, then that's just not even a part of the equation anymore. The feds can't know, therefore they can't say, "Oh, you got to give up your firearms." So there's so many things to like about this bill. Now, I want to ask you, because Representative Hicks said at the rally that we would be the first state to enact a bill like this. Do you know what the difference is between the bill that you guys have been working on, how that's different from any other state that has legalized recreational marijuana?
Mainly the fact that it removes it from the drug schedule. So, as you said, this is one of the key points with the Cannabis Freedom Act, is that it removes cannabis from the drug schedule on a state level. So this is important because it is no longer considered a controlled substance. Everyone knows what the fallout has been over the last who knows how many years. I mean, it's been almost a century now. The fallout from marijuana prohibition. Like this has been unbelievable, and people in the cannabis community have suffered greatly as a result of that, simply because of the fact that cannabis has been considered a drug. So by removing it from the schedule, it basically, it's called the Cannabis Freedom Act for a reason. Removing it from the schedule is a huge step. No other state, to my knowledge, has taken that step. And this was one of the biggest problems that I had with the Legal Missouri 2022's campaign is, they've tried convincing people, oh, well, we don't need to remove it from the schedule because we're legalizing. That is not true at all. Removing something from the schedule, that's what makes it just a normal thing. That's what makes it more similar to alcohol instead of, heroin or cocaine or whatever else. We want to draw a distinction between cannabis and, things that are real drugs, and removing it from the schedule is a huge step in that direction. But what you said about gun protections as well, the Cannabis Freedom Act includes Second Amendment protections, and specifically it makes it a crime for anyone to disclose to anyone else, to any outside agencies, whether or not someone is a patient, and that also ties into the personal growing aspect of things. So anyone who is a current medical patient and cultivator knows that as part of the process of getting a cultivation card, you have to agree to grant DHSS on-demand access to your home. That is a requirement of getting, if you want a cultivation license under their program, you are required to let them come into your home whenever they want. So under the Cannabis Freedom Act, you don't need a license to grow your personal cultivation limit. Right now it's 12 plants. You're allowed to have 12 flowering plants, unlimited plants in the vegetative stage, but you do not need a license to grow those plants, which means you're not putting your name on a government list, which means you're also not agreeing to let some government agency walk into your house. You're not waiving your Fourth Amendment rights like you would need to, or like you do need to right now under DHSS's policies. And Legal Missouri 2022 has basically instituted the same requirements for the adult use program for the personal cultivation as we are seeing with the medical program, which means under their program, you would have to get, under DHSS's policy, you would have to still get this license. You would still have to waive your Fourth Amendment rights. We don't want that. We want freedom.
Yeah, that's very interesting because, as you said, the medical marijuana monopoly, of course, that's going to disincentivize people from growing their own if they have to get a license and they have to do all these things. They'd rather, that just pushes them towards the dispensaries to buy, and so they make more money. It's cutting out their competition,
Absolutely.
which goes against free market principles. And, here in Missouri, we're making good gains on freedom. And yeah, I mean, it's the same, to me, it's just as stupid as putting someone in prison for a plant as, oh, you got to have a special license. It's a plant.
Yeah.
It's a freaking plant. Why do I have to jump through fiery hoops to have a grow room or buy some lights and a tent and have my own grow room and grow stuff that is medicine? And I'm, again, so happy that they're removing the word drug and they're pulling it from the schedule, because it's hard to make the argument nowadays that marijuana is not medicine. It's not something that heals a person. It actually can, people with, I have a mom with Parkinson's, people who have problems with seizures, all these things, so beneficial.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what we want to see, and a big part of my advocacy work, me personally, actually all of the advocates that are involved, we have Tim Gillio on board from the Missouri Marijuana Legalization Movement, Ben Hartley with Real Legalization Missouri. We have Vernon with Top Shelf. It's just, at least I think that's it. I'm terrible with names. I'm just, but we have all of these advocates who are coming together and fighting for one singular purpose. And that is to legalize something in a way that doesn't look like this monopoly that we had under the medical program. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people are unaware of exactly what Legal Missouri 2022 is going to do if it passes. That is actually where our group first started, was trying to educate people on what that ballot initiative is actually going to do to us. The monopoly that it creates is just, it's unbelievable. You're still going to face felony charges if you're caught with more than 6 ounces. If you're caught, delivering, distributing, possessing, gifting between 3 to 6 ounces, that becomes a third strike misdemeanor. The first two times you get caught, it's a civil fine. But this also includes a constitutional stop and cite mandate. If you are caught smoking in public, you are automatically given a $100 fine. And, this is an issue that isn't addressed, is whether or not being caught smoking in public, in addition to that fine, does that give someone probable cause to search you? Does that give someone probable cause to search your car? You may have just been standing there smoking a joint, but what comes from that after that? Is that what kind of criminal charges is that going to lead to? And unfortunately, Legal Missouri 2022 has been, in my opinion, completely misleading the public about what their initiative does. They're claiming that they are ending prohibition, and that they're legalizing marijuana, and they absolutely are not. So it blows my mind, some of the things that they're saying, like, for example, expungement. They keep saying that expungement is automatic and petitions are not necessary for expungement. But I have a screenshot, a side-by-side screenshot of a post from Legal Missouri 2022 where they say, petitions aren't necessary. And right next to it is a shot from their initiative that says that anyone who is currently incarcerated has to petition for expungement and release. And those petitions that they file may be denied for good cause. It doesn't say what good cause is. And anyone who's familiar with the judicial process, anyone who has any familiarity with the courts, they know that good cause basically means it's up to the judge. So if you piss that judge off, they may be a little less inclined to side with you and to grant that, to grant that petition. I mean, it's all judicial discretion. So it's in my opinion, this is a blatant misrepresentation of their initiative. It explicitly says, it spells it out in their initiative that you do have to petition. That is not automatic. And then anyone who's on probation or parole, that same good cause denial language applies to them as well. So tell me, how is that ending prohibition? How is that actually legalizing marijuana in Missouri?
Yeah, and it begs the question, what's the point of legalizing it if you're going to still punish people and maybe not expunge their record or do any of these things? What's the point in having this bill talking about cannabis so-called freedom when people who have suffered unnecessarily serving, like the gentleman there at the rally, he was sentenced to 23 years, spent 13 years in prison.
Yeah.
This is the thing that gets me, though. We have so many people who are out there saying, well, they deserve a second chance. Well, if you put someone in jail for a plant, especially on a federal charge, they spend 10, 15, 20 years in prison, they get out. How many job opportunities are they going to have over a plant? Yeah. That's ridiculous.
Exactly. And that is why, so the Cannabis Freedom Act, it says that anyone who has been found guilty of a nonviolent cannabis-only crime shall be granted expungement. It is not up to the judge. There's no reason for good cause denial, nothing like that. If you have a nonviolent cannabis-related crime on your record, you are 100% guaranteed entitled to expungement. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no ambiguity whatsoever. That is what we want to see. And I know, so right now, as it stands, the cannabis community has been very vocal about this. And I, for one, I am extremely proud of how the cannabis community has stood up and advocated for the Cannabis Freedom Act. You were at the rally on Tuesday. I mean, we had so many people show up for that. It was unbelievable. I don't know if you had a chance to look up above the area that we were all gathered in, but there were lawmakers walking by, and pausing at the handrails and looking down on our rally, trying to see what was going on. So yeah, we're making some noise.
Oh yeah, I did notice. I did notice several of them kind of walking either above or just through the crowd, and then would step off to the side, and that's what you guys need. You need this exposure, and the lawmakers need to know that you are serious about this. And I will tell you that another group that I'm loosely associated with, the Missouri Freedom Initiative, they are out there speaking on this too, and pushing this House Bill 2704. So you've got some backup that you may not know that you have, but I've been kind of keeping them updated a little bit. So we're trying, Christine. We really are. We want to. We don't like the war on drugs. We think it's irresponsible. It's immoral, especially marijuana, So we really want to see this get pushed through.
Yeah, I have about 10 more minutes left. But I know, so we have, most people are aware by now, or they will be, that the Cannabis Freedom Act was voted out of committee yesterday. So we are now on our way to the House of Representatives. But the process of that vote, I'd like to touch on that because I know a lot of people are freaking out about how that vote happened. We had, two of our representatives, Shane Roden and Nick Schroer. They are both on the Public Safety Committee. And for some reason, we're just going to say, for some reason, quote unquote, both of these individuals decided to pose a couple of problems for this bill. So Shane Roden, it's my understanding he's the one who proposed license caps to be put on the bill. He wanted an amendment added on there for license caps. And that's very interesting to me because Legal Missouri 2022 is currently panicking right now. They have been into the Capitol several times since the Cannabis Freedom Act was filed, especially because of the outcry the cannabis community has put up, about this. They're seeing public opinion changing about this. They're seeing all of the traction that we've gained. So Legal Missouri 2022 is panicking. They've been to the Capitol. They've been trying to talk to our representatives, and to weasel their way in. to this bill. And it's interesting that the one thing that Legal Missouri 2022 or MoCan Trade has been pushing, license caps. And now suddenly Representative Shane Roden is like, I'll go ahead and vote this out of committee as long as you guys put license caps in there. So that's just kind of convenient to me. But, that unfortunately, that has caused a lot of stir in the cannabis community, along with, and this is the big one that's extremely controversial, is Nick Schroer decided to put some language in there about the definition of women minorities. He said it has to be a biological woman. And of course, that's an attack on the trans community. I personally do not care what your position is on, the issue of LGBTQ, trans, whatever. That is not a conversation for cannabis.
No.
Cannabis is for everyone. All right. We are not drawing lines. We want our entire community to see freedom in this. So if y'all want to argue that, pick somewhere else to do it. And I will tell you that Representative Hicks has personally confirmed, that those amendments are on their way out. Once it gets to the House, he is, he's been given a lot of latitude, as far as what goes into this, because our lawmakers were told to address marijuana legalization back in December. The governor told them that they needed to address marijuana legalization. So, Ron Hicks is the only one who has presented something that is even remotely close to a good option. And as a result of that, this is his bill. And he is going to defend it with every ounce of his being. And he is not happy about what happened, with Shane Roden and Nick Schroer. And I mean, if you live in Jefferson County or St. Charles County, both of these individuals think that they have a shot at running for the Senate. And I'm sorry, but you're going to sit there and you're going to attack the end to prohibition that our entire state has been looking for. And then you're going to turn around and think that you have a shot at the Senate? No, that is not how this works. The people showed up at our Capitol. They told our lawmakers what we want. And then these two individuals completely ignored us. That's not okay. But I want to tell people, that this is not over until it is over. Just because a couple of people managed to slip something in there, during this stage of the process, that does not mean that it is set in stone. And we still have the opportunity to make our voices heard. We still have an opportunity to tell our lawmakers that we are not standing for this kind of corruption. We are not supporting Legal Missouri 2022's agenda.
Absolutely. Again, some of these reps, if they screw this up, it could very well cost them their chance at winning any election if they screw this up. Mm-hmm. And
yep.
I know Voodoo Queen, who sits in a lot with the Missouri Freedom Initiative, says they are writing emails and they are making calls. So don't you worry, Christine. They're also working on it. And if you got to see what they did when SEPA hit the floors, they made, I think, 600 phone calls hit that building that evening.
Oh, wow.
And if people get
tell them.
Yeah, if they can do the same thing, if they can do the same exact thing again for this, which I know a lot of them are passionate about, so I will keep pushing. Mm-hmm. I will keep talking to them about it. I will keep updating people, and we'll just see if we can just flood them again and tell them, if you don't do this, your career up in Jefferson City is over. It's doomed. You've doomed yourselves because you won't listen to what the voters want. So, Christine, I'm going to go ahead and let you go because I know you're on a tight time crunch, but I really, really appreciate you coming on and talking with me a little bit, and I really appreciate your hard work and everyone else's hard work and Show Me Canada Freedom. So best of luck to you. Feel free to message me at any time with updates. And God bless you, and keep up the good work.
Yeah, thanks. And if you could have these people, you said it's the Cannabis Freedom what?
Oh, this is the Missouri Freedom Initiative. That's
Missouri Freedom Initiative.
Yep.
Yeah, I would love to get in contact with them. And the only parting message, that I want listeners to understand is your voice still counts. This is not over. Call your legislators and spread the word. We can make this happen and have legalization by August 28th, but it won't happen unless we step up and do it. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk. And yeah, we'll be in touch. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Christine. Have a great evening.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, folks, that was Christine Thompson. And as you could tell, very, very passionate about on this subject. And I know guys like Patrick and Voodoo Queen, and I think Voodoo Queen's like the email master. I think she sends out literally boatloads of emails. She's an emailing machine. So these folks are going to be on top of this. Don't fret, people. I'm sure that, again, with SEPA, look what happened with SEPA. But this needs a concerted effort by a lot of people. We have to pressure our representatives to get this done, to take those licensing caps and things out of this bill as it goes through the House, to get those things removed and keep it intact as it was introduced by Representative Hicks and some of these other groups. And yes, Representative Hicks is on fire for this bill. I mean on fire. It was great to see him at the Capitol on Tuesday. I got to speak with him again for a very brief instant, and I asked him about the Second Amendment things, and he said, absolutely. And he said, I don't like the feds. They tick me off. It's not exactly what he said, but close enough, close enough for government work. But he is very fired up, and a lot of people in the legalization of marijuana, those groups that want to see this bill get through, they are very, very fired up. They are very passionate. So I implore you to help them out. Email your representatives. Call them. If you can't call during business hours, leave them a voicemail. I think their voicemail box holds 75. I think that's what Patrick told me. Load them down with 75 voicemails from 75 different people telling them, we want to see House Bill 2704 get over to the Senate, and then we work on the Senate, and then we get it to the governor's desk. Because if Parson is telling them, hey, let's get something done on marijuana, well, then let's get it done. Do not let representatives treat you like they know better than you do. Because a lot of the pushback, from what I heard on the 29th of this at the rally, was that the only opposition to HB 2704 was the medical marijuana monopoly. The owners of these chains of dispensaries and the growers, they're the only ones opposing it. There are law enforcement officials that are for this. They say, why are we wasting our time finding, arresting, imprisoning people for marijuana? It's a waste of time. Think about the resources that the police departments could save if they're not out trying to do busts on marijuana. And then we talk about overpopulated jails. Every state has this. This is a big topic. Oh, we got to get these overpopulated prisons. We got to do something. And then build more prisons, but not here. Okay, well, if you release a lot of these nonviolent marijuana offenders and you just release them and expunge their record, you're cutting down on the prison population. I guarantee you there are people that stay in prison for longer on marijuana than some violent crimes. Now think about that for a minute. Why on God's green earth should somebody rot in a cage for longer than someone who's maybe assaulted, stolen property, murdered, rape, any of these things? Why should they get out before a nonviolent offender, someone who maybe they had a couple pounds of marijuana on them. Who freaking cares? How many deaths are associated with marijuana? The fast answer, 0. No deaths associated from marijuana. Overdoses, any of those things. No deaths can be associated to marijuana. Why are we treating it like heroin? Why are we treating it like methamphetamines? Simple answer, money. This is about money. It's almost always about money. Money or control. One of the two things. So yes, why are we so hell-bent on putting people in prison for a plant? And then again, the hypocrisy of, well, people need a second chance. Well, don't put them in jail for a nonviolent offense. Especially if it was over a certain amount, so it's a felony. Who's going to give them a job? How are they going to be, quote unquote, productive members of society if you slap them with a felony for a nonviolent offense and then think they're just going to get out and just go get a job somewhere and just be ultra productive? Most employers won't hire felons. Right or wrong, that's another topic for debate at another time. But in the real world that we live in, why on God's green earth do these people think that, oh, well, we'll give them a second chance? You will? No, you won't. You'll expect someone else to, while you incarcerate them for something idiotic and behaving immorally. It just, as you can tell, I get a little fired up. Every podcast that I've ever done, I focused a lot of time on this subject. And as a former marijuana smoker, I haven't done it in several years, but I used to a lot. It was a daily smoker. Now, would you stereotype me as some brain dead, apathetic, slowpoke who just can't think and doesn't have a job and is lazy? No, I'm none of those things. None of those things. And you know what? 99% of them aren't either. Most people who use marijuana are doing it for a reason, and it's not just to get high. Even though they may not have a doctor, you've been diagnosed with this. They know they're depressed, they suffer from anxiety, they have pain issues, they have something going on, and marijuana helps them. Again, I have a mother with Parkinson's. We have all these children and teenagers with seizure issues and things of that nature. Why are we hell-bent on pressuring them to go to the doctor and get put on a prescription drug when there's something that is naturally occurring, not created in a lab? You can believe, if you believe in God, then you say it was put here by the Creator. And if you don't believe in God, you say, oh, it's just some naturally occurring thing from evolution or however. I don't care how you want to put it. Why would you not point people in that direction? Why would you not point people in the direction of marijuana? Because, we still have people in their old-fashioned ways of thinking. Too many people still caught up in the Reefer Madness movies from the 20s or the 30s. And if any of you have seen that movie, especially today, you look at that and go, how did people believe this? Now, of course, back then, people were feared. We're feared pretty easily today, but there wasn't the research on marijuana back then like there is now. It's proven to be effective. It's proven to be a healing plant. And yet we have politicians who say they want to legalize it. They want to legalize recreational. But yet they want to impose license caps and not necessarily expunge your record and things like that. So, and those people are doing this for political points to help help get the votes next time they run for election. If those people continue to act that way, they should not be reelected. They should be kicked to the curb. Find those who will do it because their conscience tells them it's the right thing to do. Not for political points, not for any of those things, but because they want the people of this state to be free. And they want, it's not just about freedom here, folks, either. It's also about having the choice of what you put in your body. And it's not like, again, alcohol is legal. And we want to talk about alcoholism. And this is not me out here like, don't drink alcohol. That's not what I'm saying. But again, if you got the choice, to me, if you have the choice whether you partake of the devil's lettuce, and don't take me serious when I say that. It's a funny name I've heard, and I use it all the time. Kind of an icebreaker. So you have the choice to use marijuana or alcohol. I mean, I can't use marijuana anymore because if I get hurt at work, then I'll lose my job. But if I had the choice without worrying about it, then it would be marijuana in a landslide. That's just me. Some people would rather use alcohol. Okay. But what's going to get you more? What's going to give you less health problems? Because some people drown their sorrows in alcohol. It's a common thing. People's like, oh, I'm not feeling so hot, so I'll just get drunk. And it's just like, okay, well, I mean, I suppose, but there are other ways. There are other ways of healing yourself and helping with those issues. And so I want to see this. I want to see this pass. I want people to have the opportunity to make a choice what they put in their body without being worried about being thrown into a cage or having licenses from the Department of Health and Social Services, any of those things. I want to see people freed of those things. If you hear background noise, folks, we're having a dog party at our house. So there's dogs running about everywhere. So if you hear dogs and whining and moaning and groaning and barking, pay no mind. It's just a dog party at the Williams house. We have my two of my daughter's dogs, and they're having a heyday right now. So just ignore that background noise. My wife's trying to corral them, and it's not working very well because they're not paying attention to a dang thing she says. Yeah, we got our own little dog circus here. It's funny. And they're gone. They're out of the room. The one of the dogs, Lucy, you didn't even... I picked her up once, so if you're watching a live stream, you might have seen a dog head pop up, and then bloop, she's just laying on my lap. She likes to find bones, and she's happy and chews on them. But she was starting to whine ever so lightly, ever so slightly. And it's like, uh-oh, are we going to have a loud dog party or a quiet dog party? Anyway, so again, some of the other bills. Let me pull up some of these other bills while we're going through this. Let me pull these up and there's MO for Missouri. So let me whoa, I zoomed in on my screen. That was weird. So if I could speak, that would be great. So House Bill 1992. This is a very important bill. Amongst others, but I want to... Oh, before I go on, Voodoo Queen says, I lost 2 vet friends due to being arrested. They killed themselves. Vets see and deal with demons daily, and they would be here today if this had passed years ago. Yeah. You know how many lives could have been saved if we didn't have prohibition on marijuana? I think that's something that we need to bring to people's attention, too. It's not the fact... We need to do it for those people who couldn't heal themselves and maybe committed suicide. Because we chose to throw people in a cage because they wanted to use something that wasn't, prescribed by a doctor. Because that always turns out well, doesn't it? So House Bill 1992. This bill looks to if you go to the grocery store and you buy food at a grocery store, this bill is looking to eliminate the sales tax on groceries. Now, I'm not talking fast food joints, restaurants, anything like that. If you go to a grocery store, you go to Aldi, Schnucks, Save-A-Lot, Cash Savers, Walmart, any of those places, and you put food in your cart and you go to the register, this bill looks to eliminate the sales tax on groceries. There's absolutely no reason to knock this one down. The rate of inflation these days, just gasoline alone, absolutely no reason to not get House Bill 1992 pushed through. We also have, come on, quit. I'm going to murder this. Thank you. Let's see. Let me type this one in. 2118. Another very, very important bill. This is the Stand Your Ground Enhancement Act. Why is this so important, you might ask? Well, let me tell you. So our justice system, our court systems are supposedly built on the premise that you are innocent until proven guilty, right? That's what this whole thing is premised on. Or that's what it's supposed to be premised on. Now, our court systems and things have been screwed up. But with House Bill 2118, another bill to call your state reps, email them that you want to see this bill. Move on through. Get to the Senate. Get to the governor's desk. Because now instead of if you defend yourself, instead of a jury trial, you will and having to inject self-defense into your defense at the trial. You're looking at now, you will just go in front of a judge and basically they have to prove that it wasn't self-defense. So now we are basing everything on innocent until proven guilty. That's what we're pushing for. And here's the sad part. You shouldn't have to do that. We shouldn't have to write a bill that says, oh, yeah, by the way, I don't have to prove it was self-defense. You have to prove that it wasn't. Because, again, innocent until proven guilty. But in the court of public opinion, and sometimes the courthouses, you're guilty until proven innocent. That's the way some things are handled now. That's a problem. So HB 2118 seeks to rectify that situation. It seeks to remedy that situation. It's more gun freedom, folks. You just can't be against the Second Amendment. You can't be against gun freedom. Look, folks, I'm a small fish in a big pond, okay? And I'm just a part of this loosely associated group that I have had the absolute joy of finding and now being a part of, the Missouri Freedom Initiative and the Missouri Freedom Alliance. These guys have been at it for a while. They know their stuff. But we're all looking to make Missouri more free. Every year that goes by, every day that goes by, make Missouri more free. And we got people like Voodoo Queen. We got people like John Grady. John Ashley, he's pretty active too. We got Patrick Holland and the Liberty Revolutionary and Casey Rich and Grant Sundberg and many others who are fighting for freedom in Missouri. They're doing the good thing. They're fighting the good fight. We have to let these guys know that we support them. So again, go to MissouriFreedomInitiative.com and you can sign up for their newsletter. You can donate. And you can help. They do a live stream every Sunday night. You can help. You can be in the chat. You can listen in on YouTube or watch on YouTube, if I could speak. they will point you in the right direction. They will bring up the important bills that they're working on that furthers the cause of freedom in Missouri. And you can be a part of something greater. You can be the part of something good, something big, and take solace in the fact that you are making yourself and everyone else around you more free. And we can literally ignore the feds. Be civilly disobedient. Refuse to enforce unconstitutional laws. And again, working on these things, working on freedom in the state. The anti-commandeering doctrine. Not allowing the feds to use state law enforcement agencies to enforce federal laws. Nullification. Now, some people, I have to explain again, nullification does not mean you're erasing federal laws. You're using the anti-commandeering doctrine, which means you won't allow the feds to use state law enforcement to enforce federal laws. That's basically all you're doing. You're ignoring the feds, and you're not going along with the program. But you're doing it civilly. It's not in a violent way. There's no violent overthrow of the government or anything. You're being civilly disobedient. So there's also, let me check again to make sure I got the bill right. So that was 2118, the Stand Your Ground Enhancement Act. Okay. Then we have House Bill 2009, Representative Susie Pollack's bill. This bill will allow you to be I want to get the language exactly right. I hate not having. You can be a conscientious objector to any of the vaccines, any of the jabs that your kid gets, the child would get to be in a public school. There's even a form that will be on the Department of Health's website that you can download, print off, and you can check, I don't want my child to receive X, Y, or Z jabs. And then you sign your name, you print their name, you date it, you hand it to the school, this bill passes, and they're exempt. So this is a way of exempting your child, if you so choose, from jabs to go to public school. So it's another great bill, but this is another one. So this is placed on the formal perfection calendar, which means it will get a date set to go back on the House floor and move through the process. So, but here's another one. House Bill 2009 is another bill that we need to push through in the state of Missouri. Now, there's one more, and I know it's 16 something. I want to say it's 16. That's not right. And I can't remember. Is it 1662, maybe? I cannot remember. There's one. There's a bill, and I can't remember the bill number. Now, it's covering civil asset forfeiture, which the feds like to call the equitable sharing, equitable sharing program. That bill's been butchered because it used to say you can't do this, but then they added a comma and said, except for sections such and such and such. So if that's the way the bill is going to stay, they might as well just drop it because they did a hatchet job on it and it's no good. It's no bueno. So maybe we don't, we just let that one die. But that's another bill, and it's not, apparently it's not 1662. I'm trying to find it. But, dang. Why can I not remember this bill name? Let me see if I can find it from the show that I did, or the live stream that I did the other night. I know you hear my keyboard clacking away on my desk. My desk loves the... Okay, I'm going to hope to God that the sound is off. And let me see. The bills should be up there, or should be listed. Let's see. Let me just click on each link until I find it. That's House Joint Resolution 79, which is on the initiative petitions, which is awful, or ballot initiatives, which is horrific, something else that we need to fight against. House Joint Resolution 79, totally horrific bill, or joint resolution, however you want to call it. 1613 looks like. Is this it? Let me look. 1613 is the bill. So, yeah, they added a comma in here when it was on the floor and butchered the bill. So this is Tony Lovasco's bill, and so maybe we don't want that. We don't need that. If that's what they're going to do and say, oh, we're going to not, local law enforcement's not going to be involved in civil asset forfeiture except for this section, we don't need that. We don't need that. So that's one we're going to have to can and retry again and not let them amend it to say, well, in this case, if a judge says so, or if it goes to this person, he says it's cool, then we can do that. We need to be rid of it and just throw that in file 13 for communist propaganda. So, folks, again, a lot of work to do here in the state of Missouri. A lot of work to do. And I want to see, again, this is why I kind of am joining up with Patrick and his group. And it's not because, listen, I still have a lot to learn, and they're teaching me. And what's great is I get to pass that knowledge on to you all. When they bring up bills or they talk about them, I get the knowledge, and then I can pass that knowledge on to you guys. And then I can ask that you put forth some effort, make a phone call, write an email, find out who your reps are in the House, and then when these bills get to the Senate, you find out who your senator is, and you start blowing up their phone lines and jamming up their email inboxes, and let them know that you are very passionate about whatever bill it is. 2118, 2009, 2704, 1613. Hello, Gunny. How are you? So, again, just be sure when you're hearing these bills, make sure you look them up, and I'll make sure that I put them in the description so that you can look them up yourself. I'll just paste the links to these bills in the description of the live stream video, and you can look them up yourself and take a read through them. But then again, find out who your representatives are, and make sure that you let them know. And don't just say, hey, I want you to push this through. Tell them why. Give them a reason. Tell them why you're so passionate about this bill. Because if you just say, hey, I want you to push such and such bill through, you sound uninformed. They need to know that you know what it's about. They need to know why you want to see this bill pushed through. That puts more pressure on them, because if they know you're an informed voter, that you're an informed citizen, they can't pull the wool over your eyes. Now, not all of them will do that. We have some good state reps, but there are some that would pull the wool over your eyes and pretend like, well, oh, this guy's just stupid. Somebody told him to call me and he's not serious. No, you have to show these people that you're serious. All right? So with that, we'll see you all next week. Okay, moving on. So, yeah, this won't go on a whole lot longer. I'm happy to see a few people have straggled in here on a live stream. But again, now I'm kind of preaching to the choir because of Voodoo Queen, Gunay, or Gunai. I don't know how to say your name. Is it Gunny or Gunai? I want to say it's Gunnai because it's Gunnai. But those of you that are watching, I'm kind of preaching to the choir right now for those who are viewing the live stream. But I'm so happy, again, to be a part of this group and to get to have conversations with you all and learn so much from all of you. You guys are more informed on some of these things than I am. And I'm happy to be learning from you all. And that way I can pass this information on to those who download or watch the live stream or listen in on the radio. And hopefully we can expand this even more. We get more passionate people to call their reps, email their reps. Heck, show up in Jeff City. Talk to them face to face. Do all these things and make Missouri more free. Make Missouri just a better place to be. And I think if we do that, the more free we are, we get more freedom lovers to move to Missouri. And that, in essence, it's Gaelic for guns. There you go. I like that. I like guns. Guns are good. If we do that, then we don't have to recruit people. They will freely seek us out. If they know that our gun laws are better because we have less of them, you have more gun freedom, you have more freedom if you want to use cannabis, lower taxation, all those things. We're going to bring a lot of freedom lovers to us without having to put up billboards saying, move to Missouri, we're free. They're going to hear about it. And I think that's a great thing to be a part of. And again, I appreciate all of you, Voodoo Queen, Gunnai, all you guys, or Gunnai. Sorry, I keep saying that wrong. I apologize. All of you folks and those who listen or download, we could be a part of making this state free. Literally just, literally giving the one finger salute to the feds. And I don't know what could be more satisfying at some times than giving the feds the one finger salute. Again, I has a good point. He says, I feel the main fight is teaching folks about their liberties and freedom. And that, that is not an easy task. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that it is. But because of the government fool system, as my friend Sam likes to call it, the government fool system, kids don't learn this in school. They don't learn it, so they don't know it. So we have to tell them. And that is one of the reasons I do what I do. Because I'm reaching more people all the time. Now, I'm sure some of them know this, and I'm preaching to the choir to some people, but I'm gaining. I have people come to me at work that started listening and saying, hey, I wasn't aware of this. And they said, well, I wasn't either. But you start reading articles, you start looking things up. You meet people like Patrick and Gunnai and Voodoo Queen and all these, some of these people that join in on the show. You start learning more and more things. And that enables me to educate others on how things are supposed to be. That document, the Constitution, the Missouri Constitution and the federal one, the U.S. Constitution, both. And I'm still learning, and I still have a lot to learn. I've scratched the surface on these things. But I'm damn proud to be a part of it. I feel like I'm doing something effective. I feel like I have I'm more useful, I guess. I feel like I'm not just on here talking to people that already know these things. Now I understand that I have a lot to learn, which I already knew, but now I'm getting my mind blown by things. And I just thoroughly enjoy the fact that I get to be a part of this, and that you all could be a part of this. We can all be a part of a movement that gives people a chance to be more free, more prosperous, have more choices, keep more of their money. Just a myriad of things that a free society gets to enjoy. And and that's the thing. This is something that just bites my butt. Is every year, July 4th, everybody goes out and celebrates their independence. But look how many cities you can't shoot fireworks off in, or how many states, sometimes states know, so you just can't shoot fireworks off in this state. That's not very independent. Look how many taxes you have to pay. Look how many permissions you have to ask for. Anything from putting a fence in your yard. Some cities, you want to change the ceiling fan? You have to have a building permit. How can you have to go through all of these things and then on the 4th of July shovel barbecue in your face, shoot off fireworks and say, oh, we're so free? Yeah, Liberty Revolutionary made a point Sunday night, and what Voodoo Queen here is saying now. They work for us, and they seem to have forgotten over the years. Our job is to remind them of that. Caleb made that statement Sunday night. He said we need to, Article 1, Section 3, basically saying, hey, you all work for us. And he's like, I guess we're going to have to go up there and remind them of that again. Yeah, they do need reminders, and that's why the phone calls and the emails are so important. Because if you just shut up and don't say anything, they think you're uninformed. A, you're uninformed, or B, you don't care, or both. You just want them to handle it. Oh, we'll let you guys handle it. Again, we got to stop putting these guys on pedestals. Now, if they do the right things, then absolutely we should praise them for doing the right things, like with what Representative Hicks is doing, what Jared Taylor's done, what Mike Moon has done. Bill Eigel is, the work that those guys have done, they need the praise because they're doing good things for freedom. The problem is too many people put politicians on a pedestal and they just ruin it for everybody else because they think with that kind of behavior and that sentiment from the people that they can just do whatever they want and they're going to continue to get the praise heaped on them, and they'll continue their political career and gain power and possibly money. So we have to stop the hero worship of just every politician under the sun because they're elected and they must be bigger and better than us. We have to stop that mentality. We have to stop behaving like we're worshiping some god because they're in a Capitol building. Again, if they're doing good things, then we praise them and we have their back. And we let them know that we appreciate their hard work. But just because they're a politician does not mean you just get to go, well, you guys know better than me. Because that's how we got here in the first place. And that's why we're having to walk the government back on things because we let them encroach too long. And I shouldn't say we as in everybody, because some people have been like this all along. They don't trust their government, and they watch them like hawks. And Ganai says, it is our duty. It is. I don't remember the exact quote, but it has been compared to liberty is a jewel that must be guarded from everyone, must be protected from anyone and everyone. Liberty is a precious jewel, and it must be protected at all times. You can't just take the day off. You can't just take a year off from guarding the jewel because somebody will come and snatch it from you. There are those who would do that. Voodoo Queen says, when SEPA passed, I emailed a thank you to everyone that voted yes. I'm telling you, Voodoo Queen should be called Email Queen. Because I heard some numbers Sunday night that, or no, I'm sorry, it wasn't Sunday night. It was last night on a live stream. I was astonished by. Voodoo Queen, if you would, just type in a number of emails that you have sent out. And just maybe the last few weeks or whatever. Because I know it was over a couple hundred. That's the kind of people that are in the Missouri Freedom Initiative. That's the kind of people they have working with them. Dedicated to trying to enhance and unlock the freedoms that have been locked away from us. These are some of the people that are involved. And when I mean involved, I mean they are about it. Okay? They are all in. And God bless them all, because we got to have these folks. You know, A lot of times I just get behind the microphone. Now, I went to that rally the 29th, and I will go next month on the 26th. Oh, yeah, she sent 350 emails in 24 hours. 350 emails in 24 hours. That, ladies and gentlemen, is putting in the work. That's serious business right there, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm glad she's on our side too, Ganai. I'm going to say it right. Ganai, not Ganay. That sounds like I'm Forrest Gump. Ganay. But yeah, folks, we still got a lot of work to do, and this work will not stop. Just because we get all our bills passed that we want maybe the next couple years does not mean we get to go, okay, we're done, cool, peace out, Girl Scouts, and we just go on with our business. No, we have to continue keeping an eye on things. And if we see another place, another topic, a subject, something that we can work on, then we have to work on that. It is a continuing process. And when some of these people are gone, we have to have people that will take our places and continue the good work. So education is key, as Ganai said earlier. Education is key. But so are some of these groups. And I will continue to keep you updated on how things go with these bills. As I learn, I may do short live streams on them some evenings when I hear news or I see something. I will do a short live stream and inform you. And but yeah, we've definitely got to keep pounding away, keep doing the good work, keep fighting the good fight, however whatever phrase you want to throw in there. And we've got to make a push for more freedom in Missouri. That's just the only thing you can say on that. So, with that, I bid you good evening. Actually, you know what? Let's go out with a song, shall we? Because I haven't done that in a while. And I don't know how many metalheads are listening, so Ganai says the 10th Amendment Center says, wow, I just feel like I'm, voice broke a little bit. The 10th Amendment Center says liberty is gained in inches. And, yeah, that's absolutely true. So what metal song do I want to play now? Hopefully it doesn't just start playing. Nope, How about... No, I don't want to play that one. Yeah. Let me see here, Bobby. I'm just scrolling through my... Man, I don't know what to play now. Now I'm lost. I'm lost, yo. Oh, you know what? I'm going to play... I played this song a long time ago on another show, but I'm going to play it again because I like watching reaction videos. Voodoo Queen says, I am old, but I love metal. I like watching reaction videos for people who see a song for the first time and they're like, whoa. So I'm going to play this. I don't know how many of you have heard of Ginger. They're a Ukrainian metal band, and they have a female lead singer, and she is phenomenal. Phenomenal. And she can sing very softly and very nicely, but then she's got that scream. She is fantastic. So let's play Pisces, and I'll let you guys take a listen to this, and then we'll end the show because, again, some of you won't like this. Some of you like clean vocals, and some of you, if you're like me, you like the intense throaty scream. I enjoy both. This is a great mix, and every time I watch the live session of this, literally every time I watch it, there's a certain point in this song that she switches from clean vocals to the screamo type stuff, and I literally get goosebumps every time. Every single time. Because she can do that live. That wasn't, I recorded it and then I get live and I can't do it. No, she can do this live. She is that. Her first name's Tatiana. She is literally that talented. So without me keep going on and on about Ginger, let's listen to Pisces. So anyway, folks, don't forget to check out molibertyradio.us. MissouriFreedomInitiative.com, KeyRadio.live or KeyGatheringPlace.com, and also Govern America. Check out all those sites and help these other freedom lovers push their message as well. Give them input, send them emails, tell them thank you for fighting the good fight as well. And without further ado, here's Pisces.
Suffocating painful tortures, long-lasting